In the sun-drenched plains between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a profound transformation began millennia ago. Here, in ancient Mesopotamia, the very foundations of human civilization were meticulously laid. Communities coalesced into cities, agriculture flourished, and the complexities of organized society demanded new ways of understanding and remembering. Amidst these burgeoning innovations, a humble, ubiquitous material would soon play a pivotal role in shaping the human intellect. It was here that the journey from a simple lump of earth to the world's first true library commenced. The land itself provided the essential medium for this intellectual leap, clay. Abundant and easily accessible, this pliable earth offered an ideal surface for nascent forms of communication. When moist, it yielded readily to manipulation, allowing for the precise imprinting of marks. Once dried by the relentless sun or hardened by fire, the clay transformed, becoming an enduring testament to the thoughts and records inscribed upon its surface. From this pliable material emerged the earliest known system of writing, cuneiform. Initially, pictographs represented objects, but over time, these images evolved into abstract, wedge-shaped signs. Scribes, using sharpened reeds as styluses, pressed these distinctive marks into the soft clay. This intricate process of inscription marked a monumental step in human cognitive development, moving beyond oral tradition into permanent, visual record-keeping. The immediate impetus for writing was largely pragmatic, driven by the burgeoning administrative needs of early city-states. Complex economic transactions, the allocation of resources, and the tracking of agricultural yields demanded precise documentation. Laws were codified, land ownership recorded, and the intricate workings of temple economies meticulously itemized. These early clay tablets served as vital ledger books for an increasingly sophisticated society. Yet, the utility of writing quickly expanded beyond mere economic and administrative functions. Over time, the scribes began to inscribe narratives, prayers, and even early scientific observations onto these clay surfaces. Myths that once lived only in spoken word found a new, permanent home, ensuring their survival across generations. The very concept of preserving abstract thought in a tangible form began to take root. Central to this revolution was the figure of the scribe, a highly trained and revered professional. Scribes underwent rigorous education, mastering the hundreds of cuneiform signs and the intricate grammar of their languages. Their skill was indispensable, granting them a unique position at the heart of both secular and religious power structures. They were not merely writers but also interpreters, scholars, and ultimately, the custodians of accumulated knowledge. As centuries passed and civilizations flourished, the sheer volume of inscribed tablets began to grow exponentially. Temples, palaces, and private homes accumulated vast collections of these durable records. Each tablet, a discrete unit of information, represented a piece of the collective memory of a people. However, the very permanence of clay presented a new challenge: how to organize, store, and access this ever-expanding treasury of information. Initially, these collections functioned more as archives, practical repositories for legal documents, contracts, and administrative decrees. Their primary purpose was retrieval for specific, immediate needs. However, a subtle yet profound conceptual shift began to occur, moving beyond mere storage to the deliberate creation of a comprehensive body of knowledge. This transition marked the nascent stirrings of what would eventually become the library. Temples, as centers of religious and intellectual life, often housed significant collections of tablets related to rituals, omens, and astronomical observations. Royal palaces, too, maintained extensive records of decrees, treaties, and historical annals. These sites served as vital precedents, demonstrating the value of centralized knowledge storage. Yet, they lacked the systematic organization and scholarly intent that would define the true library. The true realization of the library concept, as it is largely understood, emerged from the ambitious vision of an Assyrian king, Ashurbanipal. Ruling in the 7th century BCE, he was not only a formidable military leader but also a passionate scholar and collector. Ashurbanipal harbored an extraordinary desire to gather all existing knowledge from across his vast empire and beyond. His personal intellectual curiosity would profoundly shape the future of information management. Ashurbanipal embarked on an unprecedented project to systematically amass a comprehensive library at his capital, Nineveh. He dispatched scribes throughout Mesopotamia, instructing them to copy every text they could find, from ancient Sumerian epics to contemporary administrative documents. Existing private collections were acquired, and texts from conquered territories were brought back to Nineveh. This was a deliberate, state-sponsored effort to create a universal repository of knowledge. The result was a collection of astonishing magnitude, estimated to have contained between 30,000 and 100,000 clay tablets. These were not merely duplicates, many were unique copies, meticulously transcribed and edited by the king's dedicated scribes. The sheer volume represented an unparalleled accumulation of human thought, wisdom, and historical record up to that point in time. To manage such an immense collection, Ashurbanipal's librarians devised sophisticated organizational systems. Tablets were likely stored on wooden shelves or within baskets, categorized by subject matter. Each shelf or section might have held texts pertaining to specific disciplines, such as divination, medicine, or historical chronicles. This systematic arrangement was crucial for efficient retrieval. Further aiding navigation, many tablets included colophons, short inscriptions at the end of the text. These colophons often identified the title of the work, the tablet number within a multi-tablet series, the name of the scribe, and sometimes even a note indicating it was a copy from the king's library. These early forms of metadata were essential for cataloging and cross-referencing, functioning much like modern library cards. Ashurbanipal's library was not merely a static archive, it was a vibrant center of scholarship and learning. Scribes and scholars actively consulted the texts, conducting research, compiling new works, and translating ancient languages. This living repository fostered intellectual activity and contributed to the ongoing development of Mesopotamian thought. It was a place where knowledge was not just stored but actively engaged with. Among the most celebrated treasures of Ashurbanipal's library were literary masterpieces, including the Epic of Gilgamesh. This ancient narrative, recounting the adventures of a legendary king and his quest for immortality, was preserved in multiple versions. The library also housed a wealth of myths, legends, and hymns, offering profound insights into the spiritual and cultural landscape of the ancient Near East. Beyond literature, the collection encompassed a vast array of practical and scholarly knowledge. Medical texts detailed symptoms and remedies, astronomical observations tracked celestial movements, and mathematical treatises explored complex calculations. Lexical lists, essentially ancient dictionaries and encyclopedias, aided in the study and translation of Sumerian and Akkadian languages. Historical records, royal annals, and chronicles provided a detailed account of past reigns and significant events. Legal codes, such as the famous Code of Hammurabi, were also preserved, reflecting the sophisticated legal systems of the era. The library thus served as a comprehensive repository of both the intellectual and governmental achievements of Mesopotamian civilization. The establishment of Ashurbanipal's library represented a monumental commitment to the preservation of human knowledge. Without this deliberate effort, countless ancient texts and the wisdom they contained would have been lost to the ravages of time. It ensured that the intellectual heritage of Sumer, Akkad, Babylonia, and Assyria would endure for future generations. The library also played a crucial role in standardizing texts. Scribes meticulously copied and collated different versions of works, creating authoritative editions. This scholarly rigor fostered a culture of textual criticism and ensured the consistency and accuracy of important documents. It laid the groundwork for future academic practices. Tragically, Ashurbanipal's magnificent library met a fiery end during the sack of Nineveh in 612 BCE. The very clay that had preserved the texts also helped solidify them as the burning palace collapsed. Paradoxically, the intense heat baked many of the tablets, making them even more durable. For millennia, they lay buried beneath the sands, awaiting rediscovery. In the mid-19th century, archaeologists excavating Nineveh unearthed tens of thousands of these baked clay tablets. Their discovery was one of the most significant archaeological finds in history. It unlocked an entire civilization, providing unprecedented access to the languages, history, literature, and science of ancient Mesopotamia. The lost world came back to life through these humble lumps of clay. The concept born in Nineveh, that of a systematically organized and comprehensive collection of knowledge, became the enduring blueprint for all future libraries. From the Great Library of Alexandria to medieval monastic scriptoria, and eventually to modern public and digital libraries, the fundamental principle remained constant. The desire to gather, preserve, and make accessible the sum of human understanding. Throughout history, the medium for storing knowledge has evolved dramatically, from clay to papyrus, parchment, paper, and now the ephemeral realm of digital data. Yet, the underlying impulse remains unchanged. The clay tablet, simple and earthy, initiated a journey that continues to this day, driven by an insatiable human curiosity. The story of the clay tablet becoming the world's first library is more than a historical account. It is a testament to the profound and persistent human drive to understand, to record, and to transcend the limitations of individual memory. It reveals an innate desire to build upon the wisdom of ancestors and to contribute to a collective intellectual heritage. From a malleable lump of earth, humanity forged not just records, but the very infrastructure of knowledge itself, an enduring beacon against the darkness of oblivion.